Yes, a beautiful Monday morning to you listeners out there. The program you're on to is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. It is a program where we preview and review newspaper headlines and news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. My name is Inioluwa Florence, and with me this morning,
Florence E. Barrymore.
With me this morning, I've got the Punch newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, and the Guardian newspaper. We also have... Yes, and right about now we will take a short break. When we get back, we'll give you the headlines making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I said earlier, the program you're onto is In the Papers, coming to you from the stables of iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our headlines this morning, coming from the Daily Post newspaper, Commissioner urges zero malpractice in WAEC examination.
Yes, starting the headline from my end, from the Hope newspaper this morning, where we have Ondo APC primaries, ex-speaker Akindele backs Ayedatiwa, urges party member unity.
Still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper, Governor Soludo challenges fake pastors to miracle contests.
Okay, so on the Hope newspaper this morning, where we have Ondo vendor lots Ayedatiwa as Owena Press becomes corporation.
Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Adeleke appoints Victoria Sampson as Eunice Oshun Chancellor.
Still on the Hope newspaper, where we have 300 elderly benefit from Ayedatiwa's free medical outreach in Ondo.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, Nigerian Army denies setting houses ablaze in Cross River community.
Still on the Hope newspaper, where we have Lagos police intensify campaign against cultism, drug abuse in schools.
And now moving still on the Daily Post newspaper, and now talking education, BUK announces fresh window for NEL-fund applications.
Away from the Hope and now to the Punch, where we have Ayedatiwa celebrates a fashion run C at 100.
Still moving, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Amnesty demands probe into death of 16-year-old in custody of Katsina police.
Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, where we have federal government mandate drug test for secondary school students.
Still talking drug test on the Guardian newspaper, and DLEA arrests 3 PWDs for drug trafficking, seizes 5.8 billion naira cannabis in Lagos raid.
Still on the Punch newspaper, where we have Peter Obi congratulates Osimhen on Turkish League triumph.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, Unity Schools alumni protest planned concession of FGC Kano land.
Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, where we have Trump rejects Iran peace term as oil price surge.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, FUTA student found dead amid suicide speculations.
Yes, from the Daily Post, where we have APC clears We Kill Loyalists, disqualifies all Fubara's allied aspirants for state assembly.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, traditional rulers, key partners in governance, grassroots development, says Tinubu.
Yes, lastly from my end, and this is coming to you from the Nation's newspaper, where we have this headline that reads
Finally, on the Guardian newspaper, EFCC declares ex-humanitarian affairs minister Sadia Farouk wanted.
We would go on a short break. When we come back, we start with the headlines from today's stories. Yes, I'm glad to have you back. The program is In the Papers, your daily drive for news making major headlines in today's newspaper. Beginning from the Hope newspaper this beautiful Monday morning, where we have Ondo X primaries, ex-speaker Akindele backs Ayedatiwa urges party members unity. Now the details. A former Speaker of the Ondo State House of Assembly and senatorial aspirant for the Ondo South Senatorial District, Jumoke Akindele, has commended Governor Lucky Orimisan Ayedatiwa for what she described as his effective management of the All Progressive Congress APC in Ondo State ahead of the party primaries. Akindele, in an interview with The Hope, lauded the governor for his leadership style and his ability to maintain unity among party members and aspirants during the ongoing consultation with the APC. The former speaker particularly praised Ayedatiwa for the manner he handled the aspiration of party members in accordance with the consensus position of the party. She noted that the governor had demonstrated maturity, fairness, political wisdom in his approach to sensitive party matters, especially at a period when consultation and alignment were intensified ahead of the primaries. According to her, the leadership disposition of Ayedatiwa has continued to strengthen confidence among stakeholders and party loyalists across the state. Akindele said the governor's handling the party affairs reflected his commitment to peace, unity and stability within the party. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the pages of the Hope newspaper with this headline. Ex-Speaker Akindele backs Ayedatiwa urges party members unity.
And now to the Guardian newspaper. FUTA student found dead amid suicide speculation. And now to the details. The lifeless body of a 23-year-old undergrad-level student of the Federal University of Technology, Akure FUTA, Favor Olaniyi, has been discovered inside a bush along the north gate of the institution. The deceased male student in the Department of Surveying and Geoinformatics was found under circumstances that have led to speculations of suicide. An empty bottle of a substance suspected to be lethal herbicide was allegedly found at the scene along with the body. Following the discovery, students and residents in the area gathered in groups trying to comprehend the tragic incident. The Director of Cooperation, Communication and Protocol at FUTA, Adigbinru Adibanjo, confirmed the incident and expressed the institution's sadness over the loss of the student. The parents of the deceased have been notified. After the incident was reported to the attention of the management, the university security team quickly informed the police. Medical officials from the institution and security personnel worked together to move the body to the mortuary. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline, FUTA student dies amid suicide speculation.
Yes, still talking education, and this from the Hope newspaper, where we have Ondo Education Commissioner thumbs up federal government's textbook ranking. Now the details. The Ondo State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Igbekele Ajibefun, has hailed the introduction of a national textbook ranking system for primary and secondary schools in Nigeria by the federal government, saying that such a measure would help to correct anomalies in the education sector. Recall that the Federal Ministry of Education recently announced the measures which aimed at addressing the proliferation of textbooks and ensuring that only high-quality curriculum components and material are approved for classroom use. According to the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and the Minister of the State for Education, Professor Shuaiba Ahmed, the decision would take effect from September 2026, means that approved textbooks will now undergo a structured national ranking process to identify the most suitable option for each subject and level. Any textbook not ranked will not be permitted for use, regardless of prior license status. Ajibafon stated that Ajibefun described the new policy as one of the steps being taken to correct lapses in the Nigerian education sector, saying, and I quote, "There are many textbooks in the system that were not properly evaluated before being recommended for use." For details of that story, see the Hope newspaper with this headline. Ondo Education Commissioner terms up federal government textbook ranking.
Still on the Guardian newspaper on my end, NDLEA arrests 3 PWDs for drug trafficking, seizes 5.8 billion naira cannabis in Lagos raid. And now to the details. Operatives of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested 3 persons with disabilities, PWDs, including a 60-year-old man, for alleged drug trafficking during operations in Anambra and Kwara State. The agency said Romanus Unwabara was traced to Akpakpa Forest in Onitsha, Anambra State, on Wednesday, the 6th of May, 2026, where he was found with 250 grams of skunk packaged in retail sachets in another operation at the Ogbunike area in the state on Thursday, the 7th of May. And the LEA officers arrested another PWD, Amos Kenneth, a 25-year-old with 160.3 grams of tramadol, 225 milligram and 100 milligram 80 pills of diazepam, and 38.32 grams of Exol 5 and 176.93 grams of skunk. In Kwara State, operatives intercepted a commercial vehicle. During a search, discovered 6.3 kilograms of skunk concealed in brown school bags belonging to a PWD identified as Usman Salusi. Meanwhile, operatives of the agency's special operations on Friday, the 8th of May, raided a mansion in Lekki, Lagos, allegedly used as a stash house, where 4,000 parcels of loud and a strong strain of imported cannabis weighing 2,326 kilograms were recovered. The illicit drugs, valued at more than 5.8 billion naira, were seized from the house located at 36 African Lane, Lekki Phase 1. The agency also recovered 2 Mercedes-Benz buses and designer sachet allegedly used for packaging the substance for retail distribution. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline, NDLEA arrests 3 PWDs for drug trafficking, seizes 5.8 billion cannabis in Lagos raid.
Yes, still talking drug abuse. A federal government mandated drug test for secondary school students. And that headline is coming to you from the Punch newspaper this morning. Now the details. The federal government has introduced a stringent new measure to combat drug and substance use in secondary school, including mandatory drug tests for students and temporary suspension for those who repeatedly test positive after undergoing treatment and rehabilitation procedures. Under the new policy, all newly admitted students in secondary school will be subjected to a compulsory drug integrity test at the point of entry. The measures are contained in the National Implementation Guideline against drug and substance use in schools in Nigeria for secondary school, details of which were obtained by our correspondent, The Punch. The guideline outlined a comprehensive framework aimed at reducing the growing prevalence of substance abuse among students and creating safer learning environments across schools nationwide. According to the document, the policy is designed to create a conducive environment for teaching and learning in the institution by reducing the negative effect of substance abuse has on the mental reducing the negative effect substance abuse has on the mental health and academic performance of students and learners. The guidelines state that all new students and learners shall be subjected to drug test and other measures approved by the school learning centers at the point of entry, adding that the process must be carried out in collaboration with approved federal and state health facilities and procedures. In addition, the entry-level screening, schools are expected to conduct periodic and impromptu drug tests for both new and returning students at least once every academic section. The document further provides that all students shall undergo periodic drug tests as recommended by appropriate authorities. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: Federal government mandate a drug test for secondary school students.
Still on the Guardian newspaper on my end, customs intercept 7 stolen luxury vehicles smuggled from Canada. And now to the details. The Nigerian Customs Service has recovered 7 stolen luxury vehicles smuggled from Canada through the Tin Can Island port in Lagos. An internal custom document dated the 5th of May 2026 showed that the intercepted vehicles include a 2019 Lexus RX 350, a 2019 Mercedes-Benz G550, a 2023 Land Rover Range Rover 2019, Lamborghini Huracan 2021 Rolls-Royce Dawn Convertible, a 2018 Lamborghini Aventador, and a 2026 Toyota Tundra. The vehicles were confirmed to have been stolen and illegally exported from Canada before ending up in Nigeria. In a statement made available to newsmen, the NCS said recovery formed part of its ongoing efforts to strengthen international confidence in Nigeria anti-smuggling and cargo intelligence system. The Custom Area Controller CAC of the Tin Can Island Command, Mr. Frank Onyeka, disclosed this while handing over the vehicles to the Deputy High Commissioner of Canada to Nigeria, Mr. Nasir Salou. According to Onyeka, the recovery followed months of intelligence sharing and operational collaboration between the NCS and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police after Canadian authorities traced several stolen high-end vehicles believed to have been smuggled into Nigeria through international shipping channels. He then revealed that one of the vehicles, a Toyota Tacoma, was concealed inside a container carrying other vehicles and had not yet exited customs control before intelligence from Canadian authorities triggered immediate interventions. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline: Customs intercept 7 stolen luxury vehicles smuggled from Canada.
Yes, still on the pages of the Punch newspaper, now talking sport. Peter Obi congratulates Osimhen on Turkish League triumph. Now the details. The former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has congratulated Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen following his impressive performance that helps Galatasaray clinch the Turkish Super League title. Osimhen scored 2 in the decisive victory that sealed the championship for the Turkish giant, further cementing his status as one of Nigeria's leading football exports. In a statement shared on his X handle on Monday, Obi praised the Super Eagles forward for his resilience, discipline, and commitment to excellence. He added that Osimhen's achievement continue to inspire millions of young Nigerians to believe in hard work and dedication. Obi also used the opportunity to stress the importance of investing in sports development in Nigeria, lamenting what he described as the neglect of the sector despite the abundance of talents in the country. According to him, Nigeria possesses many talented youth capable of excelling globally if given the right support and environment. He reiterated his belief in the possibility of national growth across different sectors. Obi concluded by wishing Osimhen greater success in the future as the striker continues to shine in European football. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper this morning with this headline: Peter Obi congratulates Osimhen on Turkish League triumph.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, 1 dead, 18 injured as truck rams into bus on Shagamu Benin Expressway. And now to the details. 1 person has died and 18 others sustained injuries in an auto crash involving a truck and a commercial bus along the Ososa Bigi Junction on the Shagamu Benin Expressway in Ogun State. The accident involved a Mercedes-Benz truck with registration number FZE223CR and a Toyota Ace bus with registration number KTP331XC. Spokesperson for Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Agency Trace, Mr. Babatunde Akimbiyi, confirmed the incident in a statement. Akimbiyi attributed the crash to excessive speeding by the driver of the Mercedes-Benz truck, who reportedly lost control of the vehicle and rammed into a Toyota Ace bus. He added that Trace operatives alongside personnel of Amotekun, the police and the Nigerian army participated in the rescue operation at the scene. The injured victims were taken to Idera Hospital, Odogbolu, where the deceased was deposited at Babcock University Teaching Hospital morgue. Akimbi further stated that the accident vehicles had been evacuated and towed to the Papa Oscar Yard at the Obalende Police Division. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Guardian newspaper with the headline: 1 dead, 18 injured as truck rams into bus on Shagamu Benin Expressway.
Yes, away from Lagos and now to Kogi State, where we have Kogi Varsity expels 4 students over alleged lesbianism and cyber offenses. Now the details. The management of Confluence University of Science and Technology in Osara, Kogi State has expelled 4 undergraduates and rusticated 1 student over offences ranging from alleged lesbianism and physically assault to cyber-related misconduct. The sanction followed investigations conducted by the university's Student Disciplinary Committee, whose recommendations were approved during the institution's 30th regular Senate meeting held on April 29, 2026. According to a separate letter signed by the Deputy Registrar Academic Affairs, Mr. Eli Usman Badafu, 2 female students, Ezika Precious Omenike, a 200 level economic student, and Ako Joy Chinyere, a 200 level accounting student, were expelled over Ali alleged involvement in lesbianism. Similarly, Dominic Kolade, a 200 level physiotherapy student, was expelled for allegedly cloning and circulating photography of 2 female students without their consent. In a related disciplinary action, Agbakuru Kosichiko, a 200 level radiography student, was rusticated for 1 academic section over fighting and physical assault. University management described the actions as part of effort to maintain discipline, uphold moral standard, and ensure a safe learning environment within the institution. The Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Abdurrahman Salawu, commended members of the disciplinary committee for what he described as a thorough and fair investigation process. He reiterated the institution's commitment to producing graduates distinguished not only by academic excellence, but also by good character and discipline. The management further warned students against engaging in acts capable of jeopardizing their academic future and reputation, stressing that university would continue to enforce its rules and regulation without compromise. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: Kogi Varsity expels 4 students over alleged lesbianism and cyber offences.
Yeah, still talking education on the Daily Post newspaper. BUK announces fresh window for Nelfund applications. And now to the details. Bayero University, Kano, BUK, has announced a fresh window for students to apply for the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Nelfund, for the 2026/2025 academic session. The development was made known in a special bulletin issued recently in Kano, signed on behalf of the Registrar of the University Director of Public Affairs, Lamara Gaba. Gaba explained that the decision to reopen the application portal followed a request by university management, giving eligible students another opportunity to benefit from the scheme. According to him, the reopening of Nelfund portal provides a final opportunity for eligible students who have completed their screening to commence and complete the application. He said the application window will run from the 8th of May to the 29th of May, urging students to take the process seriously. If this news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, BUK announces fresh window for Nelfund applications.
Yes, still on the pages of the Punch newspaper this morning, where we have a year that you will celebrate Fashion Roti at 100. Now the details. The Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa celebrated elder statesman and leader of Afenifere Reuben Fashoronti on the occasion of his 100th birthday, describing him as an exemplary patriot, reverend, Awoist, and a symbol of selfless service. In a statement issued on Monday, Ayedatiwa said the centenary celebration was not only a rare divine blessing, but also a reflection of the life dedicated to truth, courage, justice, and societal development. The governor noted that Fashoronti's life remained a shining example of disciplined leadership, integrity, and commitment to humanity. Ayedatiwa described the elder statesman as one of the founding fathers of Ondo State, noting that he played a major role in the agitation that led to the creation of the state in 1976. He added that Fashoronti had continued to serve as a strong voice in national development, democratic struggle, education, and a preservation of Yoruba cultural value. The governor further described the Afenifere leader as a symbol of honor, resilience, and the Omoluabi ethos, saying that his legacy would continue to inspire future generation. He prayed for continued peace, strength, sound health, and joy for the elder statesman as he marked an historic milestone. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the pages of the Punch newspaper this morning with this headline. Ayedatiwa celebrates a Fashion Roti at 100.
Yeah, still on the Daily Post newspaper, Nigerian Army denies 13 houses ablaze in Cross River community. And now to the details. On the 12th of March 2026, soldiers from 13 Brigade Calabar and 245 Battalion Edo Barracks ICOM moved into a community in response to distress caused by suspected illegal miners. The illegal miners had alleged that the local youths were attacking them and refusing to pay 1,000 naira toll. Following the army's invasion of the community, they have been accused of wantonly destroying more than 50 houses, as well as stores, shrines, community halls, and etc. More than 200 persons were reported to have been displaced and many others allegedly beaten or shot to death. As the villagers are gradually coming out from their hideouts in bushes and neighboring communities where they fled for their safety, they are calling on the army to pay them compensation for their burnt house and those killed. But the public relations officer of the 13th Brigade Nigerian Army, Major Yemi Shokoya, denied all the accusation. He has challenged the villagers to show any evidence that soldiers were responsible. Shokoya insinuated that the arson could have been done by rival communities with whom they have been daggers drawn for years. The statement reads, and I quote, "When we responded to distress desperate calls, we moved to Odonget community. We were ambushed by local youths of the community, which time they had killed one of our soldiers. In our cordon and search operation, we moved house to house and uncovered several arms and munitions hidden in the community. It is not true that we burnt any house in the community during a brief occupation. That is a big lie. We could not have done that. We exist to secure lives of Nigerians and their properties. We could not have been out of control to go about burning houses, even if by mistake, as they claim. The commander of the 13th Brigade and that of 245 Battalion nearby were present. If they insist on claims that soldiers were responsible, let them come up with evidence like pictures or videos showing where soldiers were setting their houses ablaze. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Nigerian Army denies setting houses ablaze in Cross River community.
Yeah, so joining you in Cross River, but before we go on with the headline, we will take a very short break. And when we come back, we would continue the story. This is still in the papers, your daily drive for news making major headlines in today's newspaper. We'll be right back. Yes, glad to have you back for reactions and comments regarding the stories read so far this morning. You can reach us on 081 6552 4699. 081 6552 4699. You can also join us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at iPower1027 FM. Now, beginning from the Daily Post, where we have a story from Cross River. Police ban covered number plate on registered vehicle in Rivers. Now, the details. The Rivers State Police Command has intensified its crackdown on vehicle-related crime with the renewed ban on the concealment of number plate that's and the use of under-registered vehicle across the state. In a statement issued on Sunday, signed by the police public relations officer Agbabe Blessing Kabolo, the commander warned that motorists who cover, alter or operate a vehicle without registration numbers would be arrested and prosecuted. The statement said the measures are part of broader security operations aimed at curbing one-chance robbery, kidnapping, and other violent crime in the state. He also reaffirmed that the restrictions on tricycle keke operations between 10 p.m. to early morning remains in force. According to the command, the enforcement is part of effort to dismantle criminal networks exploits commercial. According to the command, the enforcement is part of effort to dismantle criminal network that exploit commercial transport system. The police further declared that the use of unregistered vehicle within Rivers State will no longer be tolerated, urging owners and operators to regularize their documentation immediately. Beginning from May 18, 2026, the commander also banned commercial keke buses fitted with a tinted glass or any form of covering that conceals the identity of passengers or occupant. Offending vehicles will be impounded and their operators persecuted. The police explained that the measures are aimed at tackling the rising incidence of one-chance operation, a crime pattern in which a victim are lured into vehicles operated by criminals posing as transport providers. For details of that story, see the Daily Post newspaper with this headline: Police bans a covered number plate on registered vehicle in Rivers.
And still on the Daily Post newspaper, Tinubu arrives Kenya from African France Summit. And now to the details. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Nairobi, Kenya, ahead of the high-level African France Summit co-hosted by Kenyan President William Ruto and French President Emmanuel Macron. It was gathered that the president touched Nairobi at about 12:15 a.m. today. 12:15 a.m. recently reports that the summit will focus on climate actions, digital transformation, energy transition, infrastructure development, youth empowerment, and economic cooperation between African nations and France. The Nigerian leader will equally hold bilateral meetings with French leaders, engage investors and business executives, and promote Nigerian reform agenda in key sectors including energy, infrastructure, technology, and trade. After the meeting, Tinubu will proceed to Kigali, Rwanda for the Africa CEO Forum slated for the 14th to the 15th of May. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline: Tinubu arrives Kenya for African France Summit.
Yes, still on the pages of Daily Post newspaper where we have: don't use our farmland to build housing estates. Abia community women beg Governor Oti. Now the details. The women of Umuhariaga community in Iwuhano local government area of Abia State have alleged that the state government is planning to use their farmland their farmland for a smart housing estate without their knowledge and consent. The women who came to the Abia State government house, Umuahia, in protest said that the proposed takeover of their land would cause hunger in their families as there would be no place for them to cultivate their crops. The leaders of the protesters, Mrs. Glory Orji, who spoke on behalf of others, alleged that some individuals who claim to be agents of Abia State government have been telling Umuaraga people that their flat land in the community have been earmarked for a proposed government housing estate. She lamented that the news about the unauthorized takeover of the land had created tension in the entire community. The women, who demanded clarification from the Abia State government on the project, said it would dose the tension in their village. The women who were singing and raising their placards also lamented the relevance of government agency have not done enough to stop the persistent disruption of their crops by cattle belonging to herdsmen. They further appealed to Governor Alex Oti to protect indigenous land owners from being stripped of their land without their consent. Addressing the women on behalf of the state government, Abia State Commissioner for Finance, Uwahanu Ukado, promised to inform Governor Alex Oti about their complaint. For details of that story, see the Daily Post newspaper with this headline: don't use our farmland to build housing estate. Abia community women beg Governor Oti.
Still on the Daily Post newspaper, Supreme Court reverses 1.7 billion naira award to ex-Kogi Deputy Governor Simon Achuba. And now to the details. The Supreme Court has set aside the decision of the Court of Appeal which awarded Elder Achuba Simon the sum of over 1.7 billion naira as alleged unpaid salaries, allowances and entitlement. The Apex Court held that the Court of Appeal exceeded its appellate jurisdiction when it proceeded through a post-judgment application to calculate the award-specific monetary sums to Achuba instead of remitting the matter to the National Industrial Court, being the court's first instance for the proper determination and quantification of the alleged entitlement. The Supreme Court in its judgment drew a clear distinction between a judgment declaring a party entitled to salaries and allowances and a judgment awarding a specifically quantified monetary sum. According to the court, while the earlier judgment affirmed the Chuba's entitlement to salaries and allowances, it did not fix or pronounce any exact amount payable. Consequently, any subsequent claim for a definite sum required proper commencement and proof before the National Industrial Court through appropriate proceedings. The court further held in a post-judgment motion could not lawfully be used as a substitute for substantive proceedings involving the assessment, computation, and proof of disputed monetary claims, particularly claims running into billions of naira, which may require pleadings, documentary evidence, and evaluation of competing figures. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Supreme Court reverses 1.7 billion naira award to ex-Kogi Deputy Governor Simon Achuba.
You're still listening to us from iPower 102.7 FM. And of course, the program is In the Papers, your daily drive for news, making major headlines in today's newspaper. Yes, we're taking headlines, and this is coming to you from Daily Post, where we have this headline: controversy deepens over detention of Taraba senatorial hopeful Bodejo. Now the details. Fresh controversy has emerged in Taraba State following the arrest and continued detention of frontline Taraba Central Senatorial aspirant Abdullahi Bello Bodejo, with allegation that pressure is being mounted on him to withdraw from the 2027 senatorial contest. He also urged Bodejo's supporter to remain calm, peaceful, and law-abiding while the matter is being resolved. Bodejo, who was reportedly arrested in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital, on May 7, 2026, by operatives of the Department of State Service (DSS) before being flown to Abuja overnight. Sources disclosed that he was subsequently transferred to the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), where he has remained in detention till now. Sources close to the matter allege that barely 48 hours after his detention, authorities approached the senatorial hopeful with a request to withdraw from the 2027 race as part of condition of his release. The source further claimed that Bodejo, who also served as national president of the Muyeti Ala Kwata Ho Social Cultural Association, was advised to shave his ambition until 2031. Reacting to the development, Bodejo's campaign director Adamu Isa condemned the manner of the arrest and subsequent transfer of the aspirant to Abuja. Describing the incident as humiliating, Isa alleged that Bodejo was treated like a common criminal in the presence of his supporters. For details of that story, see Daily Post newspaper with this headline: controversy deepens over detention of Taraba senatorial hopeful Bodejo.
And now quickly to the Daily Trust newspaper. I lost 3 children to Niger airstrikes as injured father. And now to the details. A 50-year-old victim of an airstrike on Guradanayi village near Kusasu community in Galadima, Kogi district of Shiroro local government, Niger state, Victor Solomon, has said he lost 3 of his children in the incident. At least 13 civilians, mostly children, were reportedly killed in the area assault on Guradanayi, one of the terrorized villages in the local government area. Residents said the incident occurred in the early hours of Sunday as aerial forces pursued bandits riding on motorcycles through the village. However, the defense headquarters denied reports that civilians were killed on the airstrike. The director of the Defense Media Operation, Major General Michael Onoja, in a statement on Sunday, said the operation was conducted following intelligence report indicating the convergence of armed bandits in Shiroro local government area on the 9th of May 2026. Onoja said the airstrikes targeted terrorist enclaves and achieved their objective, neutralizing about 70 armed bandits in Kusau alone. Solomon said he was asleep around 5 a.m. on Sunday when the airstrike occurred, leaving him with severe facial injuries. Speaking with newsman Victor Solomon, who expressed doubt about surviving the incident, said he lost 3 of his children. The statement further reads, and I quote, "I don't know if I can survive this. I sustained severe injuries on my face. I am in pain. We need help from the government." If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline, "I lost 3 children in Niger airstrike, says injured father."
Yes, away from Daily Post from my end, and now to the Nations, where we have APC committee disqualifies a 56 Fubara-linked aspirant, class 33 for assembly primary. Now the details. The Rivers State House of Assembly Screening Committee of the All Progressive Congress APC has disqualified 56 aspirants from participating in the party's forthcoming primary election. The committee, chaired by Muranina Ajibola, only cleared 33 aspirants out of the 98 persons that participated in the screening held on May 9th and 10. In the report dated May 10, the committee said the aspirants not cleared did not meet the requirement of the screening exercise. All the aspirants sponsored by the camps of the state governor, Sir Silalai Fubara and Toye Ko, appeared among the list of those that failed the screening. The document was signed by Ajibola and the committee secretary and other member Danjuma Samuel. For details of that story, see the Nation's newspaper with this headline, APC committee disqualifies 56 Fubara-linked aspirant, cleared 33 for assembly primaries.
Yes, still talking primaries, talking 2027 on the Daily Trust newspaper. Door closes on aspirants intending the factors, and now to the details. As the door closes on the submission of party membership registers by political parties to the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC today, it is feared that many aspirants may be excluded from contesting in the 2027 election. This includes presidentials, governorship, national and state assembly of whose faith has not yet been determined due to uncertainties in their various parties over unresolved leadership disputes and near impossibilities for the parties to meet INEC deadline on the conduct of primaries. Although the deadline for the submission of the party registers was yesterday, a non-working day when INEC offices will not be open, analysts said it could be done on the next working day on Monday, that is today. The aspirants are mainly within the All Progressive Congress APC, African Democratic Congress ADC, and People Democratic Party PDP. There are those in the Nigerian Democratic Congress NDC whose registration may be challenged in court. If Dr. Umar Ado makes good his threat to sue NDC over how it got its registration, it may also put the chances of Peter Obi, who is expected to run as presidential candidate, and Rabiu Musa Kokanso, who is expected to be the running mate, at risk. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline, 2027 door closes on aspirants intending the factors.
Still taking headlines from the Nation's newspaper this morning, where we have Lagos government to close section of Eko Bridge tomorrow. Now the details. The Lagos State government has announced the emergency closure of a section of Eko Bridge outbound to Lagos Island for safety investigations and repair work beginning tomorrow. The affected section span the stretch between Akmongbon to and Ijora Olokpa, according to the travel advisory posted on X yesterday by the Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Osiyemi. Mr. Osiyemi advised motorists heading towards Lagos Island to use a third mainland bridge as an alternative route during the period of the repair. The commissioner added that the inward Lagos Island carriageway would remain open to traffic. The announcement comes amid growing concern over the structural condition of major bridges in Lagos. Recently, the federal government disclosed that investigations were underwater assessment conducted on key bridges infrastructure in the state uncovered a serious structural defect requiring urgent attention. Speaking during the handover for the proposed reconstruction of the Carthage Bridge on Lagos Island, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, said some supporting piles beneath Qatar Bridge and the Third Mainland Bridge had shifted during inspection carried out over the years. The minister also ordered investigation into reported structural concerns around Eco Bridge as the government intensifies effort to rehabilitate crucial transport infrastructure in Lagos. For details of that story, see the Nation's newspaper with this headline: Lagos government to close section of Eco Bridge tomorrow.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, INEC timetable insensitive, unworkable, says Olawepo Ashim. And now to the details. Former presidential candidate Benga Olawepo Ashim has continued his criticism of the electoral timetable released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, describing it as unlawful, unworkable, and insensitive to Nigerians' politics and religious realities. Ashim argued that the current scheduling framework is creating avoidable tensions within the political system and could destabilize party structures ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking on the development in Abuja, he contended that the tight electoral calendar does not allow political parties sufficient time to properly conduct internal primaries and democratic process. According to him, the situation is already placing unnecessary pressure on parties and contributing to growing internal conflict across the political landscape. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Trust newspaper with the headline: INEC timetable insensitive, unworkable, Olawepo Ashim says.
Yes, and that brings us to the end of today's edition of In the Papers. Many thanks to everyone that's worked with us, and of course we believe we have been able to explore major headlines and stories shaping our society today. Remember, staying informed is the first step towards making meaningful decisions and contributing positively to our community. Do join us tomorrow for another fresh round of paper review. Of course, we telling you what the paper is saying, analyzing, and also having conversations making the front page. My name is Florence Barima, and with me on this drive was
Inioluwa Florence.
Yes, do have a beautiful morning. Good morning.
Good morning.